Good afternoon, good morning, good everything, good I don't know. Somewhere, there's gotta be somebody's morning. Alright, there we go. I got that set. I got my camera back. It's working. I've been trying to get this thing going for like forever. And it looks like what I gotta do is just like literally start everything over. So how y'all doing? I feel like it's been forever since I actually seen my face on this, and it's probably like, where is JD? All right, well, I am here. I am still going on. Listen, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. We're going to do a whole lot of stuff. We're going to do some mindset. We're going to do some fundamentals. We're going to get ourselves ready. It is Martin Luther Day weekend, so we got ourselves a quick market when it's all said and done. So just be conscious of your levels and be whatever instrument that you're doing, just make sure that you're taking your trades very properly so that way you can be successful. That said, we got a lot of work to do, so let's go ahead and get into the charts. All right, so the first thing I want to go do, we're going to go right into my 8 grid, and it looks like a lot of stuff has happened. Let me get rid of some of these drawings. I'm going to just get all of this started over because I like to start the week a little clean along the way. And my goal on this Sunday, and I might be keeping this consistently because I got a couple of things that's probably going to change, especially now I'm getting into tax season, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, so I was kind of looking at so I was realizing something here, and if you don't know what these background shadows are in itself, that means you haven't been on one of my floors in a while, and that's okay. But what these background shadows, it's kind of like, all right, think of it this way, right? When the market is doing this thing and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, I believe that the market makes that decision as they kind of see certain things. If you look here, the market anticipated a red candle, but unfortunately it didn't do a red candle here. It looked like it did it on 2022, and this is a yearly chart. So I think the market, when they're making a decision, they're like, all right, here's our up, and this up is so vertical, and maybe you might have some fibs going across here or whatever the case may be, and it's like you're kind of trying to like line up like where is going to be the rejection point, and it's probably this level is going to be the rejection point. Then we start to head right on down. So what market dominance tries to do, we try to anticipate where's the pullback, where it's going to happen. And this was such a big pullback that the market was like, oh, we pulled back a little deep, there's got to be some type of profit taken. And normally you'll get if this was going to be a trend revert, a trend continuation, you won't go past 50%, but we got past 50% here in 2023. That should have been our signal of, hey, guess what? 2024 is going to be bullish, and a lot of people knew that along the way. So I started realizing this, and I'm like, wait a minute. So if I have the market dominance and I come over to the yearly, could it be that we had this nice little push, and we haven't had a consolidation? I think the last time we had a consolidation was in 2018. Where you got this nice little doji, and then we got these explosive moves across. So I started thinking, I was like, maybe when we made this massive move in 2022 and this one 2023, could this be one more extension and then we start to fall right back down? I'm thinking that is a very strong possibility. I'm not saying that we're going to get this long wick and then down, but I am very curious on how 2025 reacts on the overall price action. So let's go ahead and look at this as a whole. Let's look at some current price action so we can see what is going on with the market. All right, so here is the daily, right? And what I noticed here on the daily, when we did that pullback, I think we trapped a lot of bears there, right? Those bears was like, hey, we're going to go ahead and take this on. Then we're going to go ahead and hold on to these puts. And it got real painful really, really quick because the next day we went ahead and liquidated and got back into this area. And it looked like we're going to go ahead and break this whole entire neckline that looks like a W here. So this is going to be very interesting as the MACD starting to cross over and the stock looks like it's opening back up. All right, let's go ahead and look at the crude oil. Crude oil looks like, give me a second, Papa, I'm busy. All right, crude oil. This one is going to be very interesting because what I wanted to see out of crude oil was for this thing to kind of like really start to take off because we haven't had no real price action. We just been zigzagging along the way, and I don't like all that consolidation. Eventually, all this consolidation is going to build up, and then we're going to explode either to the upside or we're going to explode to the downside. So that's the one that I'm kind of looking at to see if we're going to get that. If you remember how I kind of broke this down, I broke this down as an area of consolidation for years when it was all said and done. Years. And if we get deep into it, it's going to be very interesting if we can get this explosion. So let's see how that actually works out. So let's go ahead and dig deep, because this one's probably going to be an altar play. If you haven't remembered last week, I kind of went ahead and was very interested into this play of CVX, and I kind of looked at the rest of the oils. I looked at Exxon, and that was looking good. You already know Warren Buffett's and Oxy. I kind of looked at natural gas a little bit, and we kind of went into that. But right now, I am very, 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 very interested in what's going on with oil. So what I'm noticing with this oil move here, we're getting a nice little toppy area, and the weekly is starting to get through the zero line. I am thinking we're going to push even further to that upside. Now, what does that mean? So you got yourself all the energy sectors. Actually, let me give you a heat map. Let me grab that. Boom, boom, boom. Where is my heat map? Heat map, heat map. There we go, heat map. Stocks, and let's go into the energy sector. There we go, energy. So you got your ZOM, you got your CVX. CVX looks really, 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 really freaking good. Marathon Petroleum, Oxy kind of was being a very jerkish. I don't like what's going on with Oxy, and it was kind of annoying me a little bit, because I was like, man, Oxy, I think you should just really start to take off. But it is what it is. I don't think we're gonna get a lot of electrical, but I did see electrical start to move a little bit, and I think what they're trying to do, they're trying to get this thing to start really, really flip and push to that upside. Especially we got Next Era Energy. The only one that looks a little crazy is PCG. The wildfires in California is not helping their case, so we're going to see what happens with them long haul. To be honest, this might be an opportunity to finally get a real electric company out there, but that's a whole other conversation. But Next Era Energy looks really, really good. And I think I looked at Southern on one of my Southern companies on my list here. So let's see. We're going to go ahead. Exxon. We're going to look at CVX, and you know, and I'm going to put MPC just for giggles, but and we're going to look at Oxy also to kind of get a little bit of a rounding of that. Ooh, VLO, Valero. You know what? I'm going to put that in there too. I don't know what their option contracts are like, but I do know a little bit about kind of this and this. I kind of know their option contract there. So we're gonna play with that over in the energy sector. Let's go ahead and keep this going. This one is supposed to be gold. Why is this not saving my gold? I don't know what's been going on over there lately. This is supposed to be my gold. All right, there we go. So we got gold. Gold had a nice little push. I love the push that it had, because I was trying to figure out, are they going to continue to make this bearish, or going to go ahead and start to make a nice little reversal to test that 2800. I am very curious about this block, because we had a nice little rejection that happened around here. Let me go ahead and call this my order block. And you can kind of see we're now kind of testing inside of here. I would love to see gold continue to go to that upside. We'll probably get one more leg of this bullish run and continue to that upside, because as gold starts to be that commodity that everybody wants to invest in, you're going to get a nice little push on that, and it's going to push the dollar down. In turn, usually means the market starts to push. So we're going to go ahead and see how that works out. And then silver, I tell you how to chart this. You can see nice little consolidation. That thing's going to do a wedge breakout, while this one, it looks like they're using that 2800 to 2739-ish to kind of be that breakout for it. So as this is doing like a symmetrical wedge type of action, that one is pressing up on pressure, looking like a bull pennant. So I'm very, very curious on what happens with gold. Now here's the British pound. British pound, this one needs to recover. If gold's going to go ahead and recover, then I need you to recover too, because think of it this way. one, if gold push up, then that means people are not going to invest into the dollar. They're going to use more of their dollars to buy more gold, and that's going to be the currency or the commodity that everybody runs into. And then what that means, as the dollar weakens, the comparisons between the US dollar to the British pound is going to rise because the British pound is going to be stronger than the dollar, which then means you can buy more things with a weaker dollar. So a weaker dollar is going to go ahead and give you more opportunities in equities, and the equities start to push up. That's where you get all that synergy in the market. So just keep that in mind. All right, so that's the one I'm kind of looking at. Can this give us a nice little solid reversal and continue to that upside? And the British pound is looking like it could. We got a nice little doji in the bottom of a downtrend. We had a key level of support, which is roughly around that 1208 to 1212, roughly around here. So if we can hold this area, which it's been a very deep consolidation for a long period of time, even when they broke it down here in 2022, which caused the whole entire drop of the market as the dollar started to gain strength, it was a key level of resistance until it was support, and now they're using that support, and now here's our test after making new highs. Can we get one more spring up? Maybe. This def cross is going to put some pressure on that weekly. All right, let's keep this going. We got natural gas. Now, I did tell everybody it was starting to get really cooler, especially going into the spring. So this one's probably going to go ahead and give a nice little rally. It did. I don't like to play the top, so I did not jump into this. There was some scalping opportunities I kind of considered, but I stayed mostly in NQ and played it from that perspective. But you can kind of see now natural gas contract expiration is coming up. Yeah, it's coming up next week. So I could see this giving ourselves a little bit more of a gap down. So just be careful with volatility if you trade natural gas. All right, the next one, it is the Russell. For this one to ride up, it's going to take a little bit of a mix of consolidation by the NQs and the ES and the Dow. And then everybody's starting to pour into the Russell because they're going to start investing into these smaller companies. I'm not thinking that that's going to be the case, especially now that TikTok is banned, so that's going to really help your Googles, your Facebook, and your, well, Twitter is no longer traded, but your X, and that's going to go ahead and really kind of have an effect in that. Actually, maybe Google for that YouTube Shorts, and if you haven't used any YouTube Short, that might be your fallback for all the content creators along the way. Oops, wrong camera. All right, all the content creators, you want to make sure that you know all those 1 second, 2 seconds of their videos that y'all probably already have in your desktop. Maybe it's time to start uploading it in some of these other instruments. That way you can go ahead and get exposure, but the true content creators already do it on all. That's how it really works out. But yeah, so looking at the Russell, you're going to go ahead and probably get a nice little push here, but I think it's going to top out. And as they go into the more stable market caps, your Googles and everything else, I think Google could touch another 200. Actually, I'm going to put that on our list as well. Let's get Google. Put Google on there, and we're going to go ahead and take a look over there. Let's look at the dollar. And why is this saying NQ again? This is so interesting. I don't know. Let me save this time. Please save it this time. I don't know. I might have it open somewhere else, and I gotta go fix it. Probably on my tablet. But yeah, so here is the dollar. Nice move up. This is what's been giving us all this push down and really bringing the market down, which is fine because you want to have the market down because you need to pull back before we actually get another jump up. So as we kind of get into this one and really get ourselves a nice little push, that dollar already made a higher high. Could this just be a pullback if we never come back down to this level just for them to push right back up? That would be very dangerous for your equities. Might go with the commodities because the commodities can go into a divergence as the dollar kind of strengthens, and they just go ahead and pour their money into the commodities while the dollar is putting pressure on the equities as they cash out all their profits from the, like your Metas, your Googles, your Microsoft, throw it inside of gold because they know it's a long-term commodity, and then the dollar is just getting weaker, dragging the market down while gold still strengthens. And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen with that 2800. So just keep that in mind along the way when you're looking at your charts to kind of make sure that you have a proper plan when you're taking these trades. All right, so that said, we just covered quite a bit. Let's go check out NQ. Let's see if we can find some interesting spots. What I like about NQ as a whole, it's very fast. I am a scalper by heart. I love scalping, and it's just one of the things that I really really like to trade. It's very dangerous, very volatile, and it's high risk, high reward. That's just the best way of explaining it. But what I would like to do is kind of talk a little bit along the lines of mindset along the way. Now, we did say, let me grab this real quick and put it into perspective, because we got some work to do. I did say we're going to be keying off on this a lot this year, that we're going to have our paper trading paradox. So in this session tonight, what I want to do, actually let me just sit on the floor. What I want to do is key off on, today we're going to do, let me warm up with a paper trade. So I'm going to do some paper trades with y'all, kind of get ourselves ready for the market tomorrow. It's going to be a short day, inaugural for the president-elect is going to be sworn into office. It's also Martin Luther King's birthday, so that's going to have an effect in the market, and the markets are not going to be at its full date, and it's probably going to affect volume as people wait for Tuesday. But if we really focus on our paper trading paradox here, we do not want to get into a losing streak. We don't need to feel like we have to go back into our paper trade. I want y'all to stay as disciplined as possible. Let's warm up with our discipline, structure. How you practice is how you play, setups, and only those setups. We're not going to experiment. We use the experiment for back testing and everything else. So let's keep that there. And then when we find something like, wow, we should have took it in our real account, we're still going to stay in our paper trade until market open roughly around 9:30. But that's a whole nother conversation. You already know I only do this on Tuesdays, so this is going to be a special. So I'm warming y'all up for a strong Monday, so that way when we talk on Tuesday, I don't want to have no excuses talking about y'all went ahead and burned your account. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's it. If you do not have an elite funded account, go ahead and click the link down below. You get 90% off, and tonight is the last night for you to get that account. So I do suggest you get that. This is for my seasoned traders. If you're a new trader, by all means, click the link for my free one-on-one that's going to be for January, for the month of January. Free one-on-one. Ask me whatever questions you want. You don't even have to worry about this whole entire setup of YouTube and everything else. It's going to be just me and you. Whatever question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. The goal is to make every single person a profitable trader. So go ahead, click the link. Opportunity is right there. All right, let's go ahead and get right to it. So yeah, so our goal, we're going to go ahead and paper trade. Let's go ahead and toss that to the side, and we're going to look at NQ. Right now, NQ, you can kind of see we got ourselves a nice little uptrend that's happening from here to about here. And if I go ahead and put an uptrend right here, this thing is just extending out to this level here, and we're probably going to be going all the way into this direction. And because this is already breaking whatever we had as a downtrend, I'm going to use a ray line to kind of point that out. Look at that. That was our wedge that we had right there, using these two candles right here. And what's happening when you get price action that decides, okay, you know what, we're going to go ahead and put some pressure on the buyers. Guess what? If the buyers really like the price, guess what? They're going to accumulate, and when they accumulate, it's going to go ahead and push to the upside. So think of it along the lines of this, right? So you got yourself a nice little downtrend, right? And that downtrend is putting pressure, and you get all that downward pressure every single time. Like they just really pushing down, and every time that the buyers are trying to buy this level, they're getting hit with a new lower low, and then it liquidates them and brings them down under here to try to see if they can push it back up, and then you get another sell right here that pushes it below that lower low. So that's what's happening. But there is a point, because when we created this lower low, it should create some massive lows as they accumulate inside of this phase, right? But unfortunately, you can kind of see, yeah, we're making these lower lows. Here's one right here. Here's a retest of it. We get under it, but they just keep on buying it. So I kind of argue a lot about this. It's part manipulation, yes, a little bit, right? But again, it could be that buyers are just sitting waiting here like, hey, we refuse to buy these expensive prices. We just want the cheaper price because they're not going to buy it in here, here, or here. So they're getting in and piling in at these levels. And when you get a nice little solid MACD or stochastic that's giving you the right momentum to the upside, that's when you're getting these pressures up like that. So that's what we're looking at right here. And you could kind of see this on this chart. Let me bring that chart back up right here. Pressure down, pressure down, made a lower low. Oh my God, it's time to revert. Oh, wait, why are we up here? All right, everybody sell. So then you get these sells. Now we just made another lower low. This is the area here. Okay, all right, hey, don't let them get up there. Hold the door. And it's like Game of Thrones and everything else. Like they're literally all up here. And like they're screaming. They're like, hold it, push it down. Like they are getting, do not let them pass. Do not let them into this trend line. And then we get this freaking violent wick that just comes in. And they get the first set of sellers. And, you know, a lot of sellers, and especially, you know, we're retail traders. I'm a retail trader. You're a retail trader. Like, these people are literally putting their stop losses along the lines of this downtrend. Even in some institutions, especially hedge fund managers, they follow this trend line because they're like, look, I'm with the whole downtrend and I like the lower lows, but I'm going to take some of my profits when we get to this lower low, especially if it's not holding, and then they can start to tighten up their stop. That could trigger your continuation of that uptrend, leading to potential reversals. And then when we get up to here, let's just say they had some runners, guess what they're doing? They're like, I'm not going to go ahead and lose more money here, because if this break, this runner can eat up all the profits that I got from this downside. There's a lot of, you know, the market is a totality and a summation of the whole entire market. Sorry about that. The little ones was asking me a question. So, you know what I'm saying? When you're getting this type of action, even you, if I'm here and I'm starting to see that they're coming up to this line and I was predicated on staying for more, there's a possibility we're not going to make another lower low here. There's a very strong possibility. So now, even though this candle on the daily has started off red, I'm looking for a nice little push to the upside, at least to test this area. Again, whatever has been previous resistance, I would love for it to turn into support, because then when it crosses that line, I could get a nice little opportunity for me to go ahead and break through and start to take some of these other stop losses that might be just lingering there. And then now this is no longer a do not enter. It turns into a nice little check mark. I don't like that check mark. I like this check mark. It turns into, hey, yay. Oh, that's an ugly color. We don't want red. We want green. That means it's good to go to the upside. And I think that's what they're doing. We're still coming off of a bull economy, especially the way we rallied 2024. If we squeeze this chart, this is what we did with our trend line all the way from October 2023. We got ourselves a point. Nope, that's not the point. I want to start with my original point. October 2023, we got two candles right here at this level. They broke it down, but guess what? We made a new higher high. So we got a new higher low. Broke it down. New higher high. Oh, then that means this is our pivot for a higher low. Broke it down, consolidated, even looked like we were making lower lows in the short term, change of character. But guess what? When we came back, recaptured, got another change of character, we stayed on that upside. Guess what? This is our pivot to that lower low. Now, over here, this is when we had that whole entire CrowdStrike. Oh my God. I don't know if y'all remember. There was this company, CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike was a very interesting company. And they said it was not our fault. We went ahead and pushed this whole entire software and it did not react because it seems like someone in their engineering department did not put in a test client to see what the reaction of airlines. So if you were one of the individuals, by all means, go ahead and click a link down below and let me know. I'm curious, were you stuck in the airlines where you was in the middle of Europe, stuck there, and you just couldn't take a flight because CrowdStrike dropped the ball? So CR, like crowd, and and you know what's really disrespectful for them? Like at the end of the day, they know that lawsuits was coming, and I don't think they really issued a formal apology. If you know for a fact that they did, by all means, I would appreciate you sending me. But I don't think I ever saw them and they're like, oh, you know what? It was all our fault. Like our staff wasn't really ready, and we didn't put it in the test line. And if you're an IT person, you already know you test everything in the test line to make sure nothing crazy happens, and then you don't have a whole entire lawsuit, right? But guess what? They got all these lawsuits. They got to deal with all of that. And then now we're about to get one of the first earnings for Crowd. That's going to be the one that I'm really very curious about, because I'm going to short the crap out of these bastards, right? And you're probably going to go ahead and be like, oh, Crowd, like, what are you going to be doing right now? You got lawsuits. You got people that lost money. They had to refund tickets. They had to accommodate them in hotels. All of this stuff is going to fall right back over the Crowd, because they were the ones at fault. So now, how does that earnings look? So I think right here, this whole entire drop off was the knee-jerk reaction first. That was the oh my God, everything's falling, the sky's falling, whatever the case may be. That was one of the first ones over here. And then we got our August 5th push, right? This is when they was like, look, we don't get out of all of tech, because remember, Microsoft, let me actually do this. I'm gonna give you a nice little trick for your trading view that you could go ahead and compare everything. So you got Microsoft, right? New price scale. And then you got, I want to put one more. I want to put Crowd. CRWD, right? So first reaction, because guess what error we was getting at that time? You was getting one of those blue screens, that infamous blue screen that you just hate, and the computer completely crashed and everything. That's what was happening at airports when you try to book your flight or actually go into your flight, because you probably checked in the night before. They went ahead and rolled out that whole entire thing, right? So now CrowdStrike rolls it out. Everybody think it's Microsoft. Microsoft is our purple line? No, is our red line. So they were the first one affected. But then roughly around here, people found out, oh, it's not CrowdStrike. It was really, it's not Microsoft. It was really CrowdStrike. So then you got this nice little pivot, because guess what? They started to diverge while Microsoft started to build a base. They were like, oh, it's not Microsoft. So they were good to go. But CrowdStrike kept on falling. People started buying dip on a lot of tech. Look at how long it took Crowd to get back to where they are. This is that period. So I'm very curious. I think a lot of people responding to knee-jerk reaction got into Crowd again, and now that their earnings is coming up, which I'm going to break down in a little bit, so just bear with me, they're the ones that's going to be the one that's going to fall. So we're going to go ahead and play with Crowd a little bit, and I'm going to show you on the chart on how that works. So now you got a nice little August pivot here, and then they try to short it one more time roughly around September. Then the bears are like, oh my God, we can't take this or this. We got a nice little reversal. So when we broke out of here, and this is what I teach in my classes, when we broke out of here, that is when the market has capitulated, and we got ourselves a higher high. And it's like, guess what? We can't get this thing lower. So now we got ourselves a nice little pivot right here. And this is the one that I want to test to see if we're going to break down. So this whole entire little consolidation, little area, little wedge, whatever you want to call it, I think this thing is going to go on and fail. And all the bears are pretty much taking over the market. And they really are pushing to try to get up into this level. I will not be surprised we get back up into that 21,877 on NQ. We could even get all the way back into new highs if there is enough buyers and if this bull market continue. But if we reject out of here, or if we don't even make it super far from here, it's going to make whatever new term bulls turn right back sour, and it might push right back under that trend line. That's the one I'm very curious on, and I think the catalyst is Crowd. So let's go ahead and look at Crowd while we do that. Here is CrowdStrike. Let's look at it from a weekly standpoint to kind of give you a little bit of a sense of what's going on. I'm going to start over our trend line at the same time. Now, if you don't know who CrowdStrike is, they're in cybersecurity and everything in between. So they are a very strong company. You could see from our October, January, well, actually, here's our October pivot. Where are you? October. Okay, our October pivot is right here, but it looked like CrowdStrike already accumulated right inside of this area. So let's go ahead and take this point. We got a nice little point there, and we are on this trend line right here, right? So let's go ahead and zoom in. Look at that. Nice, strong trend, good solid accumulation, just slow drift up, slow drift off, and then when the bears couldn't have no control, that's when we get our rally, and this is your October, November push. But look at that right there. Doesn't that look familiar? Isn't that a trend line right here? It hasn't made a higher high here, but the rest of NQ has made a higher high. So as we get deep into earnings, look at their EPS. Their EPS is a 0.85. What was the previous EPS? They reported a 0.93 even though the EPS was a 0.809. What EPS is basically how much money are they going to return back to their shareholders on a per share basis. Basically earnings per share, right? So when we're facing something just like this, yes, this was a nice little surprise, probably built this whole entire rally and then take off. It does look like a bull flag, and you're probably going to argue that too. I am just going to sit back. I'm going to err on the side of caution. You know what this earnings is going to be reporting? It's going to be the period ending in January 2025. That's going to be in March 2025. What does that mean, Jeff? Well, their debacle happened in late July going into August. So if that is the case, then that means late July to August started to show a little bit here. Wait, but that was a solid earnings. Maybe all the lawsuits and all the refunds haven't been put in place yet. So if that's the case, it should reflect here. So even though they guide for a higher EPS, earnings estimate is 1.03. Earnings estimate to grow from 98.2 and carry on from here. If this is an earnings miss, I will not be surprised that we test this trend line. CrowdStrike to 250. That's a $100 drop. That means every bull that stepped into here is probably like, oh, let's get ourselves out of here before all hell breaks loose. Let me give you another little carrot along the way so you can go ahead and put this in your watch list. This is Microsoft. Everybody knows what's going on with Microsoft. Nice solid returns, nice solid push. They invested into ChatGPT, everything AI, and it looks like they're about to take over Google, right? And if we look at this chart, this is 2022, nice little pivot, especially as 2022 dropped, as people cashed out a lot of their pandemic stuff. Now, listen, I'm not saying that it's all manipulation or anything else like that. I think there was a lot of money that was sitting on the sideline, and they could have easily pushed this back up in the middle of 2022, but they was like, nah, let's get some of the money out of the economy, especially with the retail traders, and this was a good way for them to funnel that out. But that's a whole nother conversation. This one was a nice little push, so this is our pivot. This is the one that drove everything up. So let's go ahead and put a nice little trend line here. So I think this is the trend line that we're on. And if you've ever been in one of my classes, I love the bumper run. It's one of my favorite. So this was a nice little pivot into this one. And we tested here, but we made higher highs. All right, cool. No problem. All right, we tested right here. We haven't made any higher highs. I will not be surprised that people are going to go ahead and do two things. One, if CrowdStrike miss, and CrowdStrike is one of Microsoft's key, the vendor. So CrowdStrike is the vendor for Microsoft. So if CrowdStrike starts to fall, then that means they probably made Microsoft whole, because guess what? Lawsuits and everything else from the airlines probably went to Microsoft by way of CrowdStrike, and then they started to get their revenue back for what they did to compensate them for whatever they missed. Again, we are speculators in the market. I'm just giving you some dots to kind of look at. Do your research. This is all for entertainment, but at the end of the day, you don't want to be upset that you didn't even at least do your own homework. Watch what happens at CrowdStrike. If that actually happens, Microsoft's earnings is going to be in January 2024. So that means it's coming up very soon. Actually, it's in 10 days. So if Microsoft actually pushes up, their revenue should be beat. Their earnings should be beat. That means they're made whole for all that debacle from that whole entire cycle of carelessness by their IT department. If that happens, that might be a signal to see what happens with CrowdStrike along the way. So keep that on your hat. Let's go ahead and find ourselves an interesting trade for us to take. What I like to do is look at my red list. I got a couple of things that I've been really watching, and a couple of them that I really love. For example, Apple. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple. Let's grab all of that. Let's look at a daily, and let's go ahead and dig deep into this chart. All right. So you can see with Apple that, well, actually, Apple doesn't really have a lot of new tech per se, but I'm not going to go ahead and get into that craziness there. Oh, don't get me started with CVX now. I'll read the chat. It says, again, it's a little delayed coming back from that to the streaming service, so it's probably just taking me a little minute. But yeah, CVX. Oh my God, that thing is moving now. You know what? I got it on my list of things down here. We haven't got into oil. Bear with me. Let me finish with tech. So Apple, where it is right now, I think the reason why Apple had a nice little massive drop coming into the week is because there was a lot of supporters here, and I think there was a little bit of a liquidation sweep. So let's just take these 3 candles, and we are under the 50 EMA. If you don't know what EMAs are, by all means, like I said, click the link down below, free 101s. I'll break that down. But this is dynamic resistance. This is moving trend line, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, the market respects the averages. Things tend to revert back to its means, just like anything else in life, in society, in everything you do. You pull too much to the left, you eventually got to pull back to the right to rebalance. And I think that's what exactly happened. So as we kind of broke down to this level, the bulls was like, all right, cool, this is a really good spot. And the bears was like, all right, this is a good spot for us to start shorting. And we got 1 touch, 2 touch, and that was the area. They didn't even let it get to that 50 EMA. They was like, short the crap out of this. I think that was a lot of the catalyst that actually pushed the market around on that. I would say Friday. Was that Friday? Thursday or Friday? Let me double check. Thursday. On that Thursday, they took out a lot of. Where would you put your stop loss if you was very bullish on Apple and you was like, oh my God, I just buy more Apple whenever I want to. You're gonna put your stop loss like here, or here if you're one of the retail traders that is part of the dumb money. You're the one that's feeding all of the smart money because you're being so tight and you're not following structure. And if you really look at it, let's come to a higher time frame. The weekly is not telling you this is a good time to buy Apple. This thing is pointing down. We're on our 3rd red week in a row. Nothing says for you to buy it right there. But y'all like to buy things at discount because y'all go to Dollar Tree and shop all over the place. But that's a whole other conversation. Let's keep this moving. All right. So now we're kind of building this base and we're sitting on top of an order block. Could this be just simple manipulation? That is a possibility. But again, we're just going to go ahead and respect what the chart is telling me. Right now, we're cutting through zero lines. We're holding stochastics to the bottom side. Can there be a reprieve? It could be retracement. And at best, we're talking about this trend line is still holding. They disrespected this upward trend line that was built in 3 days. And right now, we're probably going to test some other lows. Let's try to get back into 2023. Where are you, 2023? So here's January 2023. Let's catch that. Here's that. And let's get this candle, right? That could be a nice little area that they're looking for. We made a higher high over here. So let's go ahead and find our higher low. Not this one. Not this one. Oh, could this be our higher low? But anyways, there's no such thing as a higher high without a higher low. This is the pivot that created that higher high. So now they're testing. And we need to find out where the level of support. Do not catch knives, folks. Do not go around catching knives. And right now, I think Apple is in the midst of giving a whole lot of knives before it gives you any money. All right. So just be smart with your levels along the way. We got earnings that's coming up on January 30th. So that's roughly around 10 days, 11 days. So that's the one that you want to kind of keep an eye out. Now, going to the chat, CVX. Oh my God. Now, the funny thing about CVX is that I saw something happening in oil and then I saw something happen on CVX. I did play this along the way, and this is my chart of how I played it. I just did not stay in this whole entire move, and I kind of regret it, but I'm kind of happy because I did keep it for my paper to kind of see, but I'm not a long-term swinger. I'm a scalper, and the person that just chimed in the chat already knows how I operate. So listen, I know what you want to say. Don't put in the chat in itself. I get it. It's all right. You're probably still in it because you look at it from a higher time frame. I did not see it like that. I was like, let me take my money. I got 100%. I'm out. Deuces. Anyway, so let's go back into the chart and get really deep into it. Look at this. This is a beautiful, beautiful bump and run break. And then it went straight into a reversal. This thing is going to continue to try to make some highs as long as the support continue to hold. What I don't like about it is that we just had nothing but non-stop greens, and there's going to be some profit taking. Depending on how much profit taking happens, we could get ourselves just a retracement for continuation, or this thing can fail and completely go back and reverse, because right now oil's doing something that's very funny. Let me come over to oil to kind of point it out. This is what oil looks like. It looks like we're back at that consolidation jambalaya rice annoying junk. And I was really thinking it was going to break above this level and continue and put some tested here. And I thought that this was like our falling wedge breakout, but we'll see. I told you don't put nothing in the chat, and you still did it anyways. Listen, I am who I am, and I'm learning to be more of a swing trader. It's just I'm work in progress. God is still molding me. He's like molding me. He's putting me in the place that I need to be. All right, so let's come back over here to CVX. So if you never did a bump and run, this one was really, really great. I love it for what it is. But you could kind of see we got ourselves a nice little there is no such thing of a trend reversal unless there's a micro trend that actually starts the reversal. So you could kind of see, look at what's happening here. We got a major trend. It's being tested after breaking another major trend. So this was your micro trend before the major trend. So now as we're building base, as we're accumulating, as we're looking for where the levels are and what they're going to do, it's very important that you just plan. Doesn't say for you to get down here. Yes, high risk, high reward. That means you would have to tighten up your stop. There's a lot of things you could have did. But how I like to play my bump and runs, I want to see a nice little higher high. I got into the trade when I saw that we was testing this level, roughly around this order block. If we look left, this was the order block. And at the end of the day, my MACD was already pushing through, and the stochastic wasn't even pushing all the way through, but it was about to get through the 50% mark. I love setups that's just like that. So as we got into this level, it took off. And then when we started to pull back around here, I was like, all right, this is where I'm going to go ahead and add some more. So I took some more, looking for us to take this target. I didn't think we was going to break the 200 EMA, so I was part of this cash out. Yes, I apologize. I was part of the doji. Don't come after me. I get it. I get it. This thing still continued when it was all said and done. Probably should have trailed it a little bit wider, but when I see 100%, I start to tighten up my stop, and that's why I stay profitable, right? Yeah, I could have been more profitable, but I stay profitable. That's the goal, right? So now this nice little move was very, very solid. Nice little opening here. I think this thing can continue. It just needs a little bit of breather. Let this stochastic relax a little bit and continue. Okay, all right, I'll take it. Is that in the oil space too? Because I would love to stay in the oil. Let's see. I don't think I know PCAR. Oh yeah, look at that weekly. Oh, that is so beautiful. Stochastic is at the bottom. This thing can continue. Whatever happens in oil, especially with CVX, as long as the supports hold, this could give us a nice little pullback. There might be an opportunity to continue. Let's see what that earnings happens around 11 days from now. But yeah, a nice little pullback, and then we could test this level. Maybe even go for a little deep for all-time highs. A little deep. I won't say all-time highs, but we could test some real key levels on the weekly. Maybe even get into that 175, 180 area. That would be a nice little spot. I could see some sellers stepping in around there. I know, as the stars start to align, and now we're speaking almost the same language. It's dangerous territory. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this PCAR that he's talking about. I wonder if it's an oil space PCAR. I don't know this one. P-Car Inc. What do they do? Oh, beautiful chart. Real beautiful chart. They are in trucks, construction, farm machinery. Okay, let's get a little deeper into that. Like to do with trucks, truck parts, and financial services. So they have their own financial services, kind of like your General Motors, where they have GM Financial at the same time. So they do their own financial services, probably getting some interest in that regard. That's good. That means they got a little bit of a moat. Heavy and light diesel truck. Marketed under Kenworth and Peterbilt. I know these companies. Okay, so if you are in that sector, you kind of have an idea of what this is. But these are like real strong farmer brands. Like if you know anyone that has a farm, they're probably buying one of these equipments here. Built in 1905, has longevity. All right, cool. So I got a little bit of an idea of who they are. Beautiful chart. Looks like we get ourselves what could be like a pivot on this weekly here. Let's come down a little bit. I'm curious on what it's looking like. Maybe one more pullback. Maybe one more pullback. I would love to see the stochastic cool down a little bit. Get ourselves a nice little solid earnings to give us a catalyst. They got dividends. Maybe after dividends, holding the 50 EMA, maybe holding the 200. And then you get to test that 118. I like your price at 118. I think it probably could blast if that support holds. Let's squeeze this chart a little bit more. All right, so we got ourselves that here. We didn't make higher highs over there, so I think this is our real true pivot, roughly around here at this green candle. Yeah, so nice base here. So there's a nice little order block here. So I would say, depending on your contract pricing and how you're comfortable, probably sometimes this magnet can be annoying. Get a nice little order block that's right here. So maybe put your stop loss somewhere around that vicinity. Let me get over here. Slide that over. There we go. Right, maybe a nice little stop loss somewhere around this area, 95, 92, depending if you have some time. But I would love for it to come back to this trend line, or at least the 50 or the 200 off of earnings or a little after dividends, and that's the one that's going to go ahead and cascade and really push that up there. That weekly, it does look good. It looks like it needed that retracement. And no, I don't see no divergences or anything. Almost ready. I just don't think the daily is in sync with that weekly yet. But yeah, 118. Man, if this thing hits 118, you could get that higher high into that 125. That would be the test at that 118 to break through, and then we can readjust our trend line, and this pivot can officially be our higher low around here. But until then, it is worthless, and we're just looking at other people's money is holding that level. So very important that you let other people's money push the market. You do not have enough capital to push the market yourself. So or scalability if you want to go ahead and go that route. But right now, I would love to see that daily pull back a little bit. I would love to see that. Looks good. Actually, let me put this over. We'll put it on the board. Put it on the red list. Let's get this. There we go. We got it on the board. Appreciate that. 4-month hold. Ooh. Let's see. Yeah. I see that. This candle should have wiped out every single low along the way, and they could not. We're retracing right back in through the candle. We got 11 days, so this could be an inside bar reversal. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That could really use that. As long as it respects this trend line, you could probably even put your stop loss along the trend line. You probably don't even need the order block at this point. As long as they don't test that trend line, you should be good. But again, buy at support. Do not buy high to sell higher. That's how a lot of traders turn into retail traders, and they call y'all dumb money. Anyways, moving on. Let's go ahead and grab one of my screeners. There's a couple of things that I saw on my screeners. One of the ones that really took my attention is waste management. I am extremely pissed about waste management because I had an opportunity to get into it, and I second guessed myself. Yes, I second guessed myself. Do not come for me. You already, those that know me, that knows me, that analysis paralysis is one of my vision lists to get rid of, so I can be able to focus on the market the way I need to. I am human. All right, so now look at this waste management. So we had a nice little drop, and if you're a Fibonacci trader, you'll probably find some appreciation for this, because at the end of the day, the market does not go in one direction. So at the end of the day, let me go ahead and put my regular Fibonacci. Let's go with main profit. Let's go profit taking. All right. So this thing, if this was going to break this support, it should have actually the lower peak. It should have just flew under this 199 low ish, and that's why I got a nice little alert here, right? And giving up the upside, and I was going to look for a target like around that 192 level, but you could kind of see it just held that 199 psychological 200, however you want to look at it, but the stochastic is tired now. So I think this was a solid, nice retracement. I'm going to switch this over to one of my other templates called my main, and this was a 382 retracement. So with this 382, could this be part of our reversal for that? And that's the question that you want to ask. Like, wait, Jeff, why reversal? We're in a downtrend. This looks like a bear flag and everything else. Yes, true, right? So if we take these two tops, that's our angle for the downtrend. But that means they got to go ahead and push all the way up to here. So they're not really breaking any downward trend momentum, right? We got ourselves another deviation of that, which is our bump and run of this breakout here. And this is where we are here today. So they broke out of this downtrend, which is changing this trajectory. And we did that with this upward momentum, right? Making higher highs and higher lows. But wait, we had something else. When we got into that 199, roughly here to here, that's the angle that's going after this angle here. So I'm very curious on what's going to happen here, because this one is now making higher lows off of a deviation. So if that happens, there's a lot that can happen with waste management. Very, very good company. If you don't know who they are, they're the ones that actually collect a lot of trash in most of the major parts. They do have competitors, but I feel like they own the space in more places than anything else. Really, really strong company. But they pay a dividend. I think this was a dividend play, as people were cashing out, holding their position, collected the dividend, didn't drop. And then right now, we're going towards earnings, and they're accumulating before they actually make that drop. We are still in the bearish side. So I think this is probably a little bit of a pullback. The reason we put a doji on that daily was that we need to cool down the daily. But this weekly, I think this is the real play. So I would love to see waste management get around that 215 so I can be able to play it for some new highs. But I think that we're going to test the 215 to 218, then find some support, and then find our way to reject and use a 618 rejection. Just depends on how it holds. But this is a nice little move, especially how we kind of engulfed this on that week. And that's the one I missed, because I was like, could it push up? The daily is under the MACD, but the stock could look good. And when I saw this, I was like, all right, smart move, Jeff. And then I come back, my alert goes off. And I'm like, why is my alert going off? Because we took off. So waste management, I'm a little upset, but not really, because again, I don't like when the MACD is under here. It kind of gives me a little bit of acid reflux and nervousness. I don't like those pressures. I don't. All right, so let's go back. I want to come back to oil, because there's so many ways to play oil. You can play oil directly through CL if you're a futures trader. You could play it on Forex. I want to say is it Brent? I think do we have any Forex traders? Yeah, I think it's Brent for Forex. I don't trade Forex. I apologize. So I might be kind of dabbling a little bit. But anyway, and then for stocks and options, there's a plethora of them. And then you got yourself the XLE. I do think XLE is safer for some new traders if you want to go ahead and go that route. But I'm going to go run down the whole entire list of everything that's oil to kind of see, is this going to break out on CL or not? So let's see what it looked like. It broke out. WTI. That's the one I was thinking about. WTI and Brent. Yes, that's the one. That's the one I was looking for. All right, so let's start with XLE first, right? So XLE, here's our move right here. A lot of this is driven because of tickers like your XOM, CVX, MPC, Oxy, Valero. All of them are inside of that energy, plus some of the electrical companies like your NextEra, PCG, and Southern Company, right? They're all inside of it. But the reason we're moving like this is because it's weighted a lot off of oil. Look at that. Doesn't that look familiar? Going through the MACD. Needs a pullback. And I'm going to go ahead and come back over to CVX. Shout out, right? CVX looks beautiful. Going through the zero line. Needs a pullback. Everything else. Let's go ahead and check out ZOM. XOM, right? XR Mobile. This one looks like it hasn't started yet. Now, I think part of the pullback that's going to actually happen and why this is not moving is because of tickers like ZOM and also Oxy, right? I think Oxy already started their breakout. It's now in a bullish state. I think part of this, let me go ahead and get rid of this bad boy here because I was looking at divergences, right? Look at that trend. It's trying to break this long-term trend up here. Let me go ahead and recalibrate this for the daily because I think I built all that on the weekly. Look at the angle for the daily. So I think the reason why Oxy is kind of hitting the brakes right now is because this upward trend line from here to the bottom of this candle is now broken and they're at the level of resistance. If anywhere on here from your fib, especially with my fib lovers, gotta show love for the fib lovers. If this thing holds like this, maybe a 50 EMA at the 382, maybe we get a little push like that, this thing can go ahead and break through and start to cascade and really go for some of these higher EMAs between the 200 and I got my goal, which is my 800 because we nice rejection here. Could this be Warren Buffett getting some more shares? Don't know, don't care. As long as it respects the parts of the charts, I just will go ahead and look at this. I'm looking for Oxy to do a breakout, test $55, find some new support. That should go ahead and cool this down with the stochastic with it, and then we go ahead and try to take off a little bit further. Let's go ahead and look at some more oil ones. We got MPC, Marathon Petroleum. This one had a nice solid move going through the zero line, stuck up in this area. You're talking about from $132 up to $150. Nice resistance up around here, around the 200. Let's see if that can go through. What else is up here? We got VLO, Valero, right? There's another one going through the it kind of repeats itself, right? That almost everything kind of follows what's going on with the XLE. So this is why it's very important that you start to kind of like chart some of these things. I got MPC, ZOM, CVX, MPC, Oxy, Valero. XLE is the ETF that actually encompasses all of the tickers, so that way you don't have to worry about too much of a deep pullback. You probably could get a smoother ride with XLE. So I would say check these out, so that way you can be able to play oil, especially as it tries to break out of a year's worth of consolidation ever since the peak after the pandemic. So let's go ahead and keep this moving. Let's go with my red list again. Let's check. I got Waste Management in there. I got Starbucks in here. Let's try to change up industries a little bit. I want to do Pandemic because I already talked about crowd. Boeing or AMD. Boeing or AMD. And then we're going to get into some paper trading after this because we've now wrapped up an hour. I should go Goldman Sachs. I like Goldman Sachs. All right, let's go with Starbucks and Dollar Tree. Let's do something cost effective for everybody, so that way we're not going and burning through cash. It doesn't cost that much for those contracts. So Starbucks and Dollar Tree. Let's check these one out. So now Starbucks, I kind of played this one with the upside. It was being a bit of a jerk because I was playing it to $95 and they were they were being jerks. Like it came back to like $91. So I thought, okay, cool. We're probably gonna go back to the CEO the CEO boost, because we had the new CEO that came into Starbucks, and ever since then this thing just took off like a rocket. So I was very curious if it was going to fill that. I did play it to the downside, made a couple of dollars on the way down, but we didn't fill the whole entire gap. So I played the reversal and I waited for us to break above a level after the push up, which was roughly around this $91, and we did play up until about $95. What I don't like about it is that this pullback was part of that daily, and this is why I kind of went against my rules. So I deserve everything that happened, right? So I went into break even because we stayed under the zero line. I thought we was going to go ahead and push right through, but they did it after the fact. I re-entered roughly around that 940, caught the gap up, took some of the profits. I'm happy because I didn't want to carry over the weekend. So this was a nice little solid trade. But to kind of wrap this all in the bow for y'all, and this zero line on the MACD is very, very key. Make sure you actually follow suit, so that way you don't have to fight with the market, especially when the weekly still is bullish. It's still on your side. Just make sure that the daily is on your side with you. All right, so that's Starbucks. I love where it's going. I think we are on this trend line that's roughly about right here. Come on, get there. There we go. All right, we're in this trend line, and I think they are coming after this whole entire sell-off momentum that they were trying to do, which is from this peak to that candle, and that's why we hit the brakes right on it, right? Because they notice they're not getting enough momentum. A nice solid consolidation could drag this right through the zero line, and then our weekly will turn back up. If we do not, we're probably gonna go open up this mouth again, and we're gonna go ahead and fill the rest of the CEO gap. So there's a lot of ways to play Starbucks. Put this on your watch list. I love this ticker, and I think this is going to be the play. All right, next one is Dollar Tree. Let's get cost effective. Not too expensive, not too cheap, just enough for us to go ahead and make some money. Now, Dollar Tree was a pandemic darling, of course, so you can kind of see with 2022, we got up into that upper register, and we haven't looked back ever since, because we've been on this kind of like curvy, rounded downtrend with multiple deviations off of the angle of this downtrend. This one kind of put some pressure on it, so we could go ahead and put that right about here. And then we got this massive extension here, especially after we broke structure roughly here. And you can kind of see we have not been back. So could this be the base for Dollar Tree? Very possible. I don't think so, but we're going to see what happens with their earnings. And that's probably going to be the catalyst that we're going to be looking for. Let's go over to the daily. Here's your daily. Nice solid base. Nice push on the MACD. Let's see if we can hold this 72 with some consolidation. And if that consolidation sits there, we're probably going to be inside of a nice little order block. I'm going to go ahead and block this out. Come on, get there. Not that candle. Boom, 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 boom. Here. Oh, come on. Click. All right. And then coming down roughly into here, somewhere around this level here. Right. So this could be just an order block build. If you are accumulating shit, well, they don't pay dividends on that. I want to accumulate no shares on this one. But if you were in a position and this was paying dividends, this could have been where you accumulate shares to see if this thing can push to the upside. And then if it does, good. If it doesn't, your stop loss is around $61 a share. And then you just get the hell out and avoid catching any knives, right? Solid earnings, solid revenue. Let's see what's here. Economy is not too good right now, so could their EPS start to shoot up as people are starting to shop more at Dollar Tree and not over at Publix? Maybe, but we'll see what happens from there. All right, let's go ahead and have some fun. Let's go over an NQ. And for this exercise, like I said, I am a scalper by heart. I love my scalping. So, you know, for all my swing traders, I'm going to say this right now. This is where you exit stage right? And this is where, you know, if you get, you know, a little, you know, I don't know, nerves, you don't have nerves of steel and you can't handle the, you know, the 1 minute chart. This is You know, this is where you exit and be like, all right, this is. But what I'm doing here is just to kind of get myself warmed up. I just want to see current candle price action and kind of just see how I'm going to read when I look at certain things, because I trade most times on the 45 minute because I'm more of a day swing trader, and that's how I like to trade. But you know, for the most part, I use the 1 minute to kind of warm up, so I can get my warm ups in. It's like a pitcher that's pitching. They're not going to pitch 10, 15, 20 pitches in a row. This is where I just get the frequency in, just to kind of get loosened up, so I can see where my malleability and my mind and everything else, that way I can see the chart and be very disciplined along the way. So this is what it's for. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this chart. Solid little trade here to try to play this right back up using this on a daily. I really feel bullish. I think I should stay on the bullish side. Let's check my 45 minute. Yeah, nice bullish. It's been this whole entire almost like hour and a half ish. No, sorry, hour. Trying to get this back down. We got a little bit of a lower low here. Not a fan of that one for a bullish move. Maybe if it builds another base, or maybe I can be part of the base from a scalping side, maybe. Got some fair value gaps here on the 45 minute. We got this one here. Hold on, the little one. Yeah, they're over here toying around. So we got a nice little fair value gap that's right here. Let me go ahead and call this a fair value gap. I picked the wrong one. Solid fair value gap right there. And then we got another one that's right here. Boom. Boom. So that's a solid fair value gap. They tested it right there. So could it be that they're going to test this fair value gap one more time as we try to get this low? We got a little bit of a bearish divergence here. Pushing up here, but we're not pushing up again on the MACD. That could be a bearish divergence, probably get some more downward trend. Let's go ahead and mark these off. Short term trend is probably this against the major trend. So when this is over, this is where we want to play to the upside on the break of that. See if we can get some counter trends. See if there's some opportunities there. Patience, folks. Even though we're going to go down to a 1 minute, doesn't mean that you just get into the trade in the first 60 seconds that you looked at the chart. Got a nice little fair value gap here on the bearish side that's being built now. Let's call this bearish. We got 21 minutes before this solidifies, but if that holds, this could be the catalyst that brings us right back down inside of here. Let's come down to the 15 minute. Yeah. So we got a nice little hold here on the 15 minute. Look like they're using the 50 EMA as a support. Could get a nice little curl up. Again, we are still bullish on the 45 minute, right? But the 15 minute is pointing down and it could go right through the zero line. But if we get a nice little support, nice little round move here, probably tight stop and everything else. Let me log into my paper. A nice little hold here would be great. I'm going to start off with 1 if I did want to take this trade. Got 5 minutes on this candle, so let's go check out the 5 minute. I'm going to check here. Bearish. Not ready. Doesn't look like the 5 minutes ready. Look like it could be because we're putting in this bearish divergence. I'm a bullish divergence. If you haven't been in one of my classes, again, down below there's a nice little link. You could go ahead and sign up for one of my one-on-ones. But bearish divergence, we're making lower lows while making higher lows on the oscillators. You don't want to see that if you're playing it to the downside. So that is this little move here. make it lower lows. Nice solid move to the downside. Nice little channel if you wanted to play a channel. Let's go ahead and grab that. Grab that. Let's take it at this peak here. Right? Nice little channel to the downside. But when you're starting to build this base and you know the histograms is not following here. Again, the oscillator itself, let me be clear. The oscillator is following, but unfortunately it looks like the histograms is not. So we could get a nice little reversal here when we break through the center pivot of this channel. If you're a channel trader, I am not. I just know how to read them, but I hate channels. I really do. I love order blocks and zones, but channels, I'm too rigid to play channels. I'm the type of person, if it's at the top of the channel, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the short. And then I don't know why to just do a little quick sweep because my stop loss is too tight and everything else. It just feels weird for me, so I just don't do it. But if you do play with channels, that is probably what they're building here. So we'll see what happens, especially if this bearish fair value gap holds. And guess what? That channel is going to get shot. Shot right in the dark right there. Nice little upward trend here. I think a nice little reset of this 5-minute oscillator, probably pull right back, and then we can find something that's going to be fun to play on the upside. So let me go ahead and make a nice little alert. Boom. Alright, let's look RSI. Boom, 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 boom. Pulling back. That's probably what we're looking for. Nice little pulling back action is probably what I'm going to be looking for in that stochastic. We get a nice little move down. That will make things very interesting for that. So let's keep this party going. We got oil. Let's go check out oil. What's going on with you, oil? See if we can get some action over there. Again, I love my 45-minute. I will not get rid of it. 45-minute consolidation. It kind of is putting a bit of a bullish divergence here. So we've been making lows. Not really a bullish divergence. That's a low. Kind of like a follow through more. Not even bullish. I found it very interesting, especially with oil when we gap down on the contract expiration. I was like, that was a little disrespectful, but that's why I won't carry things overnight on futures. I don't know how it looks on a Forex chart. Actually, you know what? For entertainment purposes, let's go check out WTI. I'm curious on that. What's a good WTI I used to look at when I did? I think it was Spot. No, not Trade Nation. I think Black Bull was fine. I think this was fine. I think I did that one. I'm going off of memory, so bear with me. I haven't traded Forex in a long time. My MetaTrader is probably looking at me crazy right now. Like, what are you doing over here? All right, so we got a nice little support here. No contract expiration gap. They don't face those type of pressures in itself over at Forex. Shout out to my Forex traders. Y'all don't have to deal with our shenanigans with contract expirations. That look like that. It looks like a nice little wedge is happening here, right? Got a nice little push here and push here. That's probably what we're getting. Nice little slide of these. See if that can hold. Again, bearish here on this 45-minute. Let's go ahead and check out the 15-minute. Let's see if we can find something there. Oh, okay, 15-minute. Maybe a nice little reset of stochastic. Let this 15-minute kind of crawl through. Will that be the one that drags this MACD on the 45-minute to kind of come closer to here? Probably not ready because that 45-minute is not resetting that stoke. Again, we could probably pin it, but I don't like being on that side of the coin. That's where you get that chop because both of them not agreeing. All right, and then we got ourselves the 5-minute. Let's see what the 5-minute is doing. Nice little curl back down. Maybe. All right, back over to CL. Chart looks the same. Listen, I'll tell you this right now. Futures, forex, oil, all of them, they talk the same language. They all come from the commodity. All right, so let's go check out gold, and that'll be our last one to see if we can find something to play. Let's get rid of this here. Let's look at the 45-minute. Double top. That's what the 45-minute look like. Double top. Breaking the neckline probably brings us under 27.29, somewhere around here. I would love for this zero line to break through as well. That's probably going to be the play if we do find something. Kind of an uptrend, not great, but this is a point, a high point. Swing low is higher low, and that is higher than that. So could this be a higher low? Could this be it? Get out of the way. Let's put a nice little question mark. Could that be it? Is this our higher low? Maybe. If this stochastic can cross up, actually, let's do that. Boom, boom, boom. So we got an alert right here. Cross. Stochastic. Where are you? Stoch RSI. Boom. All right. Bounce. And they spell bounce right. If we gotta get across on our stochastic to the upside, probably could get a nice little push right back up. But I don't think I'm gonna take that trade because that'll be like channel playing. And again, I hate channels. I hate ranges. I don't do it. But I'm thinking when I get that cross, I can sit and watch. I don't think they're gonna cross right back up into this area. And when that happens, that's when we make a lower low and this M pattern starts to sing and test some of the fair value gaps down to like 27.08. Maybe we could get a 29-point play. We'll see how that goes. See how it goes. Let's check out the 15-minute. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, already bearish here. Already bearish. If we can get a nice little stoke up here, break down, and then that probably reset the MACD, get a curl over, that's going to push us down. And then the 5-minute, it's already bearish too. So we get in that bullish divergence, and that bullish divergence might be short-lived. And that's the one that's going to go ahead and take us and bring us all the way back down. And the moment we break that 729, that's the play. Maybe even put an alert here. Time to go down? Question mark? Maybe. We'll put that right there. Park it. All right, so let's go ahead and take some more charting out there. Let's see. I do have some things that I've been working on. How y'all feel about leaps? Let's talk about some leaps. Let's see. I don't want to talk about tech anymore. Let me start from the bottom. Don't get me started with SoFi. Now, I've been looking at Uber. Let's look at Uber. Let me come back over here and use this one. Uber. I gotta spell it right. I was looking at Uber. Let's take a bit of a pullback here now that we're waiting for our setup to happen. I know it's very complex here, but there's a couple of things I noticed with Uber. If you don't know Uber, Uber is the rideshare transportation disruptor. They finally turned a profit roughly around 2023, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2023 here. Yeah, this one right here. Generating $9 billion in revenue, returning 18 shares to their shareholder, and it hasn't been back ever since. It was roughly around $46. They have tested areas. Again, that August sell-off was a good buy opportunity. Again, for my investors, for day traders, that is terrifying because you don't know if that ball is going to keep on falling down even further, right? So we had a nice little That is a hidden bullish divergence. We're making higher low here, and we're making lower lows here. So they're accumulating something vicious. That could be the play on the daily. But what I was seeing from a more longer term, oh, let's go check out the NQ. So NQ alert just came through, letting us know that the 5 minute has pulled back. We're getting a little bit of a cross. Now, how this cross responds is going to be key, because again, I'm looking at the 45 minute and we've been going in this downward trend, right? And we need to build a base, and I would love for this 5 minute to reset and come back into this lower register. And if it fails to make a lower low on like a MACD or anything, we probably could get a bullish diversion that makes the 15 minute curled at 0, and then kind of get back into that 45 minute push on the upside. But again, that is speculative as hell, but it's good for practice for our paper trading. So just bear with it as we try to decipher the Da Vinci Code along the way. So 5 minute, let's see if this 5 minute closes with that cross. Let's zoom this in to make sure we can see that cross happen. Got about 3 minutes and 52 seconds to see if that cross really holds. Nothing sucks more than you have a thesis, you see, already uncrossing. That means we need to get probably a break here so that stochastic can reset, because I need a bearish candle. That's going to give us that cross again, of course, because they're starting to open it back up. But again, the purpose of the alerts is just for you to come, check out, see what's happening, make your assessments. It's not a signal for you to enter trades. I know a lot of traders in 2022, and 2020, and I was one of them. Alert goes off, oh, that's it, that's the move, and I stay on one chart, and then I get my face screamed by the market as they go ahead and just put a whole lot of pain, as if I'm just skidding off of a motorcycle accident on my chin. That this, something along the lines of that. Anyways, so you see, getting a nice little uncross here on this 5 minute, and I don't want to be in that direction, not yet. I want a nice little cool down reset. Get this down here. Let the sellers think that it's okay to kind of come in and dip a toe, and then we just grab their liquidity and push up. Because right now, that 45 minute, that thing look like we're going to be pushing down. All right, so that's that one. Let's go back to Uber. So with Uber, if I'm looking for a longer term play on Uber, I'm thinking that this is going to be probably the recapture we're looking for, around $87 or so. It's going to probably take some time, because again, this is a monthly candle for the most part. But I think we're going to finish with like an inside bar reverse on Uber, only because of the fact that a lot of people are starting to realize that they are turning a profit. I don't really care for their practices on how they turn a profit, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day, right? But generally speaking, you can kind of see on the chart that this is a nice little move for inside bar. We got a nice little trend line kind of giving us an uptrend. We got another angle of a trend line that's being tested. They just did a massive sell-off, which is roughly around here on this October-ish level, where maybe initial investors that invested into Uber said, hey, around 80 bucks, we're going to start taking some of our profits. Maybe it's CEOs. They had a schedule of taking it on that quarter. Whatever the reason, I don't care. Right there, the chart is there. Now, if they decide to go ahead and reinvest, they're going to buy it at cheaper prices, and it's wherever the support actually shows. I think we're at a key level of support, roughly around that $59, and I think we could get a solid push on the upside if the stochastic on the monthly starts to cross up. So this is one that I'm keeping an eye on, hence the reason why it's in my red list, and I'm looking for this thing to kind of continue to push to the upside. All right, so that's Uber. What else we got? Already did that. Johnson & Johnson is weird. I like to do this mostly around open enrollment, but you know, we're already past that, so I'm not going to look at this for almost a year. Alta was a very disrespectful jerk. Well, let me be specific. So Alta is one of the really good brand in makeup. My wife likes them. They use them during the pandemic. I made a lot of money on them. Did not keep it. Probably should have kept it. Not traded. Invested. But that's, hindsight is always going to be 2020. But where it is right now, I do feel like we got this double top action on the monthly. And when I came down to the daily, when I was looking for a trade, I noticed this. This is what I was looking for. I was like, oh, we already kind of created this. Nice consolidation. All right, all we have to do is liquidate who? The bulls. But again, I broke my rule. This is why you have to follow your rules. And actually, not only just follow your rules, look at your trades. If you bled money out, stick a band-aid, lick your wounds, and codify that wound. Find out what caused that. And if putting your hand inside of bucket of knives gets you cut, find out why. How can I keep myself away from bucket of knives? And in this case, I should have waited until this thing crossed the zero line on the MACD. I did not. I actually was like, oh, it's already open, and I wanted to be in so early that I thought it was just going to fly right through the zero line. Unfortunately, I was part of this liquidation sweep. I did get a little bit of a warning sign roughly around here at 432, but I was like, okay, as long as we close under 432, then we'll create a hammer. And that day was a Monday. The next morning, that happened. And I was like, oh my God, this contract is completely worthless. So just remember, follow your rules, follow them with discipline. This was already tired. Stochastic as a lower register, but I was putting so much confirmation bias on the MACD that I put myself in an awkward predicament. Let me kind of explain this a little bit further. So let me use another piece of paper, and I get into it. So you got your Stoch. Like your Stoch is your I won't say momentum because that's what the MACD is mostly for, but it's almost like general market ideology. And kind of like where I like the Stoch RSI because it kind of brings in the ideology of the market, plus the smoothness of the RSI, which gives you the relative strength index on where the market wants to go. And if it's at that lower register, yes, the relative strength is technically bearish, but you want that to kind of happen in sync with other oscillators. So where I kind of messed up, if you really think about it, a good nice little setup would have been something along the lines of, let's just say we got a nice little push up, right? And you got your signal line that kind of comes in, and this is your MACD, right? Nice little MACD that kind of gets you set up. You're like, oh, okay, but you know what? I already know for a fact, since it's in that upper register in that area. Actually, I kind of drew the MACD a little wrong. This is your zero line. We're up in that area. What you want to kind of see is that MACD kind of gets under here, maybe kind of chill out, maybe attempt to push up, and then you get yourself another curl down where it kind of starts to widen out that mouth again, something like that. But if you get in a nice little trend on the stochastic, and the stochastic is a little bit more violent, so even though it kind of does all of this and it had an opening here, it probably cross back down, cut through the 50 EMA, and then it kind of comes back up, and then it gives you that double top type of action on the oscillator, and then it kind of comes back down into that lower register. Now, as the stochastic is kind of like coming through this area, right, that stochastic is making a push to the downside. Absolutely. But then there's a point where it flattens out because it just cannot get any lower. If I'm seeing that and we're at the zero line of the MACD and we're coming down where it's opening up again, then I'm looking for this to kind of stay pinned. But it's not the most optimal, right? Now, let's just say this thing kind of throttles and then this starts to push up. Let me extend out my stochastic a little bit, right? I would love, and this is where I get some of my good entries and good solid entries, is when my stochastic is at that upper register and we already broke under the zero line here, right? And that mouth is already opening. So let's just say this kind of throttles out, and then it just never really got into that upper register to turn bullish, and your histograms are like really weak or whatever. When we get into this area where it kind of starts to open up again, that is more of a sound type of entry, because not only you got the stochastic on your back, you have the MACD. It could go all the way to the zero line, which drags the stochastic into this register, and then you get that nice little push. That's where I failed on that trade. So that's a little quick triage when I kind of noticed that. So let's go ahead and grab this chart. But you could kind of see, if I'm playing this and I'm playing it to the downside, right? Actually, let me get a little deeper. Let's get a little deeper. We got ourselves a nice little push up to this upper side, right? Nice little push, nice little push. But now anything up here isn't that bullish. Why am I going to go ahead and fight with bullish momentum? I'm not going to do that. Yes, we're at the 200. Yes, there could be some death cross. Yes, there's a whole lot of things that could happen in the market. But generally speaking, this here is telling me that we could come right back down. Could you play this? Absolutely. I just feel like this is very dangerous territory because, again, that zero line usually causes problems. Hence this. There's our problem right here, right? But then here's the one that I say is our good setup. This is the one that you wait for, and I feel like it's probably the most optimal in itself. That stochastic, it's up here. That price action against the 200 EMA. That MACD, it's above the zero line, but it's weak, and it's starting to cross back into that zero line. Bulls see this, they see that, they see that. They're like, this doesn't look good. And then we got that mouth start to open as soon as it gapped down. That thing is bright red. That thing is pushing down. Look where. Let's put a vertical line right here and just zoom that in. Look at that, nice rejection, coming through the zero line. Hammer, solid entry here. You could have a nice little price action of about $29 to the downside. If you ever played Alta, it's probably about 6 deviations closer to the money. So if you get something that's like 5, 6, or 7 deviations, you should see some solid profits. 8, 9, and 10 is probably going to be a little trickier, but very, very, very solid trade, even though it only lasts 1, 2, 3 trades, right? 3 trades. Especially if you see this doji at a level of support, you want to kind of back out of there. So as I'm looking at it, and when I triaged this, and I was like, oh my God, I am so special. Not only did I not get back in, I just kind of like, damn you, Alta, you suck, right? There was a bearish divergence that happened because this was a nice little spike up, bearish divergence, boom. That could have been a nice little momentum play, but we're back at that zero line again. Troublemaker, I am sitting out. I want to see some of these oscillators reset, and then I can go ahead and take the stab at that trade. So that's what I'm looking for on Alta after making such a massive, annoying, even though it was light leverage, but it's just like, oh my God, Jeff, come on, think, do smarter. Like better trades. All right, let's see. Anything else? No, let's go check out NQ. Let's see what happened over there at NQ. What they got going on over there? Because I didn't get another alert. Yep, that's what I was kind of looking for. Get that stoked kind of cross. Now we got a full cross here. Now we got a level of support roughly around here. Let's get back up to that 45 minute. Let's see how that dance is. Ooh, not a good sign, but kind of good sign. I know, kind of mixed up, right? The reason why I'm saying that is because this could be a nice little doji for a reversal. Because if this thing catches support and liquidate this fair value gap right here, we're probably going to push up, and that's going to be your morning star. If you haven't seen a morning star, please look that up. And if you want more questions on that, don't forget, click the link down below. My link tree is there. Go ahead and sign up for the 101. I'll break down morning stars for y'all. It is a very, very key reversal type of pattern, and that's what it looks like that could form on this 45 minutes. So we'll see what happens there. But I do like this 15 minute. 15 minute look like it wants to cross over that zero line. But I would love if that MACD, that stochastic was up here, and we don't have that right now. If it broke this level, I probably would be looking for some downside into the 200 EMA. That probably would be our play. Look at that nice, good accumulation here. Let me see. Might be able to take a momentum trade. Let's go have some fun. Let's see. Let's see the 5 minute. Again, it's pointing down. Could get a curl over. Let the 5 minute fall. Recapture this area here. All right. That is 9:35. Not the most optimal time. Sorry, not 9:35. 7:35. Not the most optimal time to trade. We'll see. See if we can get a nice little push up. Get that stochastic. I want to scare some traders. I don't know. If Neil was here, I probably would mess with him right now. And be like, hey, let's go check out the 5 seconds. He'd be like, what the hell are you doing down there? But yeah, I would love a nice little reset here. Let's see if we can get a push back up. What I want to see along the lines to kind of give you a little bit of an idea. We are in a downtrend. It's official, at least for 45 minutes sake, right? When we made this lower low, this is no longer the pivot. I teach this a lot, right? So this is our pivot. So if the bulls were going to take control, they would have to attack here because this is the most recent. Actually, this is even lower here, so this is another pivot here. So they already attacked one pivot and retook it here. So that's this area here, and they attempted to push it even further. They couldn't. So now the bulls have to go ahead and reclaim this momentum. So can they get it? I don't think so, because this fair value gap here, especially with this pressure that happened right here, roughly around 6:30, especially bouncing off this 50 EMA. But it needs a reset. So this could be a nice little bottom push up. We are bullish on the 45 minute. This could be that morning star. You see how we kind of formed that? You want to get a nice little engulfing, and you want to go ahead and wrap out this whole entire fair value gap. If that happens, we could try to play this to the upside. But again, that's 45 minutes. That's 38 minutes from now. We'll probably wrap up like around 8:15, 8:30. Kind of give you a little sense of time frame as we get ourselves prepared. And that 5 minutes starting to cross back up. That's what you want to see at key levels of support. I just don't like this MACD where it is because it's still kind of bearish. I want to see a nice reset of stochastic down here on this 5 minute. Look at that reject. Nice little rejection there. That's how you get caught in chop. We got some more downside to do. All right, that stochastic starting to look good. We're still bearish on that 1 minute. We're still bearish on this 5 minute. We're probably going to do a nice little bearish to the downside as they tested a fair value gap over here. So a nice little cross in the 1 minute would be great. Now this could be the bottom, and we probably miss opportunities. Maybe even do a very janky W and kind of push right through that fair value gap, and that could have been the opportunity. But I'm going to stay on the bearish side because I feel like the 45 minute still does need that reset. It's not done yet. And we'll just miss the opportunity of playing inside of the morning star, which is okay. Nice cross. Got the minute and 30 to 36 seconds. A nice little short order will probably be right inside of this fair value gap, assuming that this thing is going to go ahead and continue. Then here, then here, then there. Just literally take out some levels. So let's mark these off. Let me get rid of this lines here. Those are more like guides. So maybe an entry under here. Oops, not that candle. This candle. Come here. Right there. Maybe even here, a little safer of an entry. If it starts to kind of build some momentum, probably grab inside of here, this liquidity here, where the manipulation started, and the momentum will just cascade right through to here, and that will create our lows, resetting our oscillators. But that 1 minute start to get into that upper register, the zero line. So we need some magic here. See if we can get some downside. 50 EMA would be tough. It would be tough, especially we closed above here. I can see bulls being emboldened, trying to play this to the upside. But still bearish. This 5 minute, I want to see this 5 minute. Let this stochastic come. That's what I want to see. 550 psychological level, good area for bounces. All right, let's do something light. Taking a light position. Nice stop here. Just to kind of see, can we attack that with the stochastic pointing down. Again, high risk, high reward. But what I'm looking for is to take out this imbalance that we just recently created. They could sweep me, especially there. But I'm looking for the strength of this fair value gap here. I'm looking for that where sellers are just filling orders and they're like, hey, sell this crap. It's too high. And then we just take the momentum, get into the here. But this is going to be a key area where bulls are just sitting, waiting like, oh, take it off the 50. We're going to push it right back up. Look, we already got the 1 minute. Let's get the rest. But if I put some weight into the 5 minute, the 5 minutes telling me, now this party is not over yet. And depending as long as it doesn't do no choppy sweeps, we probably could get this 5 minute to cross right back down. Got some green ticks, 5 ticks. 2 ticks, 12 ticks. There goes my fair value gap. Oh, there we go. There we go. I could add another one here if I was going to do scalability, but just for this exercise, I'm going to just trail it in. I know where I would love to do an entry. Give me a closed candle under there so I can put that in place. Like I said, this is a quick little practice of scalp. Nice solid trade, 27 ticks. If you don't know how NQ, it's $5 a tick. So 5 times 25 is $125. So I got a little over $125. We didn't close below, so I think I'm going to risk it. Leave my stop loss up there and see if I can get some new friends as this 1 minute is building here. I'm thinking the sellers are around here, that level. If we break this level, I'll just go ahead and add another contract possibly. And then tighten up the stop. Let's see this 5 minute. Yeah, you see that was a good bounce for the 5 minute for those that want to keep the 5 minute stay bullish, right? Nice little wick down here. That's why I said I'm gonna risk it because I'm looking for something a little bigger. So if they want to make sure this wick stays intact or this wick stays intact, they're gonna go ahead and catch it at these levels of support. Could have been a drop for them to pick up new orders too, but again, like I said, I'm gonna risk it because I'm looking for that 1 minute to hold its weight in gold. Look like they're trying to reset the 1 minute stochastic, but I don't think they got the strength. I think they really want to reset the 5, but they are taking some of the fair value gaps that we just put in from here. That was already a sweep. So yeah, from here and here, that fair value gap is destroyed. Could bears be sitting right here and then they just went ahead and just swept that? Maybe. All right, we got a nice little gap here. See if they retake that. Like I said, I would love for it to just be part of the pullback, and then we grab another contract down here, and then we take some of the pressure off of here, and maybe even test down into probably like 530, 537. Oh, maybe. Oh, there we go. Taking another one. Come on, taking another one. Fill it in. There we go. Hopefully I didn't get no lag and then I got 3 contracts. That would suck. If I can get under here at 538, I probably, so I'm like Let me see, I'm at $10 a tick. So for every tick, I'm getting $10. That's $130. So I got it as high as almost $200. I think that was what I saw. Maybe something like that. We get a nice little break here. We'll probably go, yep, come on, there we go. Come on, get in there, get in there. And then I'm gonna put my stop into profit around here. But I would love to capture this whole entire thing down to here, retest over here. And that should really reset that 5 minute. Let's go ahead and put that into that. Oh, actually, let's hold. Looks like they're toying with it. Hold on. I don't want to get it in too early, but yeah. So what I'm thinking about is that this 5 minute is starting to get. You see that? Got that cross. Then we got the second cross because they crossed it up. Now they grab the liquidity of all the bulls. They try to push it back up. We get one more of this 5 minute to kind of like push in here. Have some support off of the fair value gap here. That should just go ahead and recapture down here. But again, we are in a bullish trend. I do want to put it into profit, but I wanted them to at least test here before that. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I don't. But this is how get that flexibility and processing. What goes on in this jambalaya rice of a head of mine. So we're about 160, $200 again. We break this bottom, it should print something nice. We got a little bit of a gap here, so if the sellers get out the way, I'll be the one that's catching knives. Bad spot for a 1 minute doji, but we are bearish. Would love for you to try to make some lower lows along the way. That would be fun if they kind of swept it for manipulation and then we get a bullish divergence. I could pretty much ride this whole entire thing out if that's the case. But again, a lot of speculation. It's going to speculate that this 5 minute puts in as bearish divergence and continues down. Oh. Yeah, they're bringing me close to break even. Oh, they took out that fair value gap. This is not looking good at all. Let's go ahead and come back over to the 1 minute. Might come back into this gap. Unless there's some bears here or here, I'm in trouble. Might have to tighten up my stop, but we ain't gonna do that during bullish momentum. I don't like doing that. I would love a red candle, then I'll push it in. Yeah, that 1 minute stoke, you see it's at the bottom now. This thing crossed, this thing could peel right through that zero line and just take off like a bottle rocket and just come straight for this stop loss right here. Because we are still in bullish momentum. But I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it for a break of this area here. And I think that the bears got enough control to get that there. And let that 5 minute, because that 5 minute looks like it's ready to like really pull back a little bit. Let's go to the 15 minute. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that 15 minute is not my friend right now. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's the one. There we go. We got a nice little low. Let me go over to my 1 minute. Let's go ahead and tighten that up. I don't want them to come inside of that kick. So we're going to go ahead and tighten up. We're going to, out of $225 that I saw, I'm going to go ahead and lock in about 110. So let's go ahead and lock that in. Get nice. So we got $350. So I'm risking about $200 to see if this thing is going to make some lower lows. Let's see, 5 minute. What we doing 5 minute? That was a nice little rejection without getting that 1 minute gap. Are you saying that that's all you have? It's a nice little reversal as people are taking profits. That's probably what's happening there. I would love a test right here. Yes, Caleb. Go ahead. You want to interrupt me so bad. I have my mic hot too, so be careful what you say. What's up? Can you what? Can I unlock one? Alright, give me. Yeah. Since your mama wanted to give it to you, no problem. Alright, goodbye.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I don't like that. So then
Close the door. Close the door when you get out, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, we're back to $320. Cross of the Stoke is pushing down. Get that 1 minute MACD continuing down. I would love for it to just slowly drip down. That will give us our bullish divergence on the 1 minute. That would get us a nice little break over here at 533. That's what's key at this point. The 1 minute can literally just go ahead and sweep all the way through. So that's why my stop is right here. A good area for entry was probably around here when I was in this for continuation, assuming that we're going to go ahead and continue to drop. But I am very curious. If we get inside of here at 528 and this thing gives like an elephant candle and a fair value gap happens somewhere around here, I'm going to assume that the bears have more control than they really show. 5 minute, it is not a fair value gap. We got 4 minutes in this new 5 minute candle. We had like $200. If you want to see right here, 225, 215, 185. Oh, they took my stop. I will take it. That is okay. I'll take my $55. What the? Oh, they must have overshot. They must have overshot it. That happened sometime. But again, I was willing to risk 200 to see if I was going to make down here would have been about $400 or $500. That's how I like to kind of like test. Make sure my wits are with me. Look at that nice little cross of that Stoke. Look at that. Now this is kind of putting what could be considered a continuation right here. I probably put my stop loss in way too early. But again, I saw green. I know it's a counter trend. I'm putting that thing into profit. There's nothing you can tell me. It did get up into that gap. So they're probably going to go ahead and try to take this up again. Unless they recapture this whole entire thing. And then make me angry. Talking about we're going to fill this gap just to get Jeffrey out of here. That's a very strong possibility. But if you have any questions, by all means, like I said, click the link down below. This is very, very fun. I try to make it entertaining. You can ask me any question that you want. Just go ahead and click the link down below. Get your free 101. This is the best way you can go ahead and ask someone that kind of knows what he's doing. That's how it works, right? You know, you learn from those, and you know, I'll be your Mr. Miyagi, but then after a while you'll be Daniel-san and I can't teach you anything more. And now you're making millions. That's what I want. I want to teach you and get you there, right? So that's the game plan. So let's go ahead and keep this going. Nice little push, but they kind of took more of that fair value gap in that 1 minute. So this could be a nice little curl over. What I wanted to see, again, like I said, I knew we was going to go ahead and do this dance. I wanted price action to do something crazy. That would have been your true sweep, aka manipulation, and then that would have created our bullish divergence, and that would have gave me a nice little time for me to do a reversal. So that's it. Go ahead and put in the chat any tickers that you want me to pull up as I wait for gold or oil to give us another setup. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little review of it. Let's go see what's going on with oil first. All right, starting off with our 45 minute. What you got for us, oil? Okay, still looks like consolidation. This is what I don't like about oil right now. It's like, why are you still consolidating? You've been consolidating since 2021. Like, it's just crazy. Now there's price action that still make money, but still it's like we haven't had no real breakout on oil. So I think there's going to be a massive move when this thing finally does it. Here is what that weekly looks like if you're late to the party. This was that crazy pandemic low where I don't know what this actually means, but if my theory is correct, right there on that bottom here is basically saying that they would have paid you for a fraction of a second. They would have paid you $39 a barrel to take this oil. That's what I'm sorry. I think this is moving. Yeah, yeah, it's by the barrel, if I'm not mistaken. It might be like 10 barrels, but I think it's one. It's a contract of barrels, so you technically would have been paid $39 to take a barrel of oil at this drop down when the pandemic hit. I don't know what that means, but that's how low we got. And when we did that, we sprung all the way up to $129 a barrel. So you would have been paid 39, the 39 plus the 129, you got paid $169 a barrel for that. Again, I don't understand what happened. I feel like it's a complete computer glitch, or they let their friends off the elevator. Whatever the reason, it is what it is. So this, ever since we made that move to this high, we've been doing this dance, and this was back. Sorry, not 2021, 2022. We haven't made highs since March of 2022. So this has just been a sideways consolidation until they broke this downward trend. Let me fix that here, and that's where we are right now. So why aren't we just super bullish? Why aren't we just taking off and continuing to the upside and just moving on and just see where it goes from there? I don't know, but oil is just sitting here and they're holding that $66 level with all its might. So that said, we're at $77, and oil is one that pays $10 a tick, and it's $1 for every tick. So that means it's $1,000. $1,000 for every dollar that this thing goes up, and we've been at 66. So you're talking about 11. So 11 times $11,000 that it's moved up on a contract. That's what we're kind of like playing against right here. And it's like we just been doing this dance, 11,000 here, 11,000 up, 11,000 up, 11,000 up. Like it's just doing this whole entire dance right here, and it's been a few years. So I want to see what oil does here. Let's see. 15-minute. What do you have for us? It looks like it's going to go bullish, especially after the 45-minute looks like this. It kind of looks like they're trying to make this continuation to this upside, because higher low, higher lows, right? Right here. So we just haven't made a higher high. Maybe they attack this imbalance here and get into that 79. Now, whatever happens here, it's going to put pain at the pump. So if this thing breaks out, I'm not rooting for more pain at the pump, but it's just going to be more expensive per barrel. So just keep that in mind. If you want to worry about your gas prices, this is where that is. Let's look at the 15-minute again. Yeah, crossing over the 0 line, and the 5-minute. 5 minutes at its lower register, so we get a nice little cross. So that's why we're still waiting on this alert. This alert has not happened. Get out the way, right? I am looking for oil. Got so many alerts. I am looking for oil. Where are you, CL? Did you already cross? No, you didn't. Oh, that's gold. I guess I didn't probably put one. All right, let's do another one. I guess it probably already happened. And no, I didn't. I just didn't put one. All right, so let's put one. All right, so what I'm looking for is a stochastic cross on here, and assuming that this is going to continue to that upside and push on up. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a nice little alert. Stochastic and bullish. Just to kind of make things simple. If you don't know what bullish and bearish is, I don't know if it's true, but bulls, he has horns, so they start from the bottom and up and poke up, and bears, they rise up and then claw you down. That's how I remember it. So if you have any troubles, remember what's bullish and what's bearish. That's one way of doing it. So now we got a nice little alert right here. All right, let's go check out gold, since this thing doesn't look like it's going to cross right now. All right, here is gold. Did we not have a cross? Oh, we have a 45-minute cross. That's what it is. So let's go check out the 45-minute. Almost there. Almost there. Look how tiny and pinched it is. That's why key levels of support are so important. And we're probably going to put some sense of a hammer too. Look at that. Getting real tight. Probably going to close this up. There's our alert. All right. So let's go check out that 5 minute. Let's see what that 5 minute is doing. Still bearish side, not too much of a fan. I probably would love to see this stoke get up here and then it crosses back down. I'll play it to the downside. See the 15 minute. Oh yeah, 15 minutes still bearish unless they break some real key levels of support. Sorry, resistance I should say, and fail to take out any of these imbalances up here. Yeah, I'm probably going to play this to the bearish side, being down here. And that 45 minute can really open up this MACD. But before that, we got to see if this cross actually reopens or does it stay. Oh, oil's even giving us something. Let's go check out oil while we're doing that. Actually, wrong thing. One here. Oil 5 minute. Nice cross. Nice cross. Get ourselves a nice little reset. That's what that 1 minute looks like it's doing. 15 minute bullish. Not 30 minute, 45 minute. Yeah, that's what that 45 minute. This is probably going to be short lived, but we're probably going to play some oil. Like I said, the goal here is to take all those jitters and know what your setup is and what you're going to take and everything else, and align your theses properly so that we can get proper confluence. You can get these biases real fast, and I feel like these warming up with a paper trade is key. That's why I love breaking this down. If you have not seen this, it's very, very important to me. I'm really trying to focus on this, is that I'm going to let me warm up with a paper trade. This is all the discipline. You build your structures and everything else. You make sure you warm up properly there, and then yeah, wow, I could have made $55. Wow, I should have taken it in my real account, but because I know my discipline, I was in a counter trend. Yeah, that was $55, but it could have been another way. I'm going in the counter trend just to kind of get my juices flowing, and then let me take it in my real account. I don't see anything that tells me let me take it in my real account. And then if you don't see that before you get to damn, I'm going to be in a losing streak, you got to make sure you keep that discipline. My goal is to get every trader to draw an imaginary line across here to avoid losing streaks and force the market, force you to go back into your paper trade. Because this area right here is what I call the quit pit. This is where all traders, they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to be a trader. Right here is where you get that quit pit. This is where you're like, I'm never going to trade again. They did me so wrong. All right, let's go back to the chart. Enough of my antics. All right. All right, so we got a nice little cross here on this 5 minute. I want to play it to the upside. I like the 45 minute, but not all the way through, because there's been this consolidation, and I would love to kind of liquidate, but you see these wicks? These wicks are going to be tough. We just broke the 45 minute support that was here on the previous candle. Not a good sign. 15 minute looks like it's curling right back down, which I anticipated because, again, we're already on that upper register. And then the 5 minute, it does look like it wants to be bullish, but it's not in the best situation because none of that higher time frame is giving any of that confluence. So not really a choice thing. Not a choice thing. Let's get back over to gold. I think we'll probably find a better place in gold. All right, so it's coming back again, 45 minute. Look at that, nice rejection. I would love to play this down. Let's see if we can get that. All right, 15 minute. So we got a nice little cross here. We're in that upper register. This thing can cross right on down. But then this is what I'm looking for. Can this open right back up? Maybe. Maybe not. 5 minutes right here. This is the one that let us know what's going on because we had our 5 minute alert. Where's my log? It basically said, hey, guess what? We crossed down on the 45 minute. What was the cross up? Let me double check. Make sure. 45 minute. Yeah, so we had our cross up saying, hey, come in here. And this is why you do not just jump on your alert and have a confirmation bias and then get liquidated. Look at how far they liquidated after they cross. It's reopening this part, making the mouth of this 45 minute MACD open right back over. We might get the signal line just going right through. That might happen. So let's see if we can find ourselves a nice little entry for the 15 minute being our best friend. I would love it for it to cross. Let's see if we can catch it crossing. If I could get the 5 minutes to start to go through this zero line, let's see. I don't think we're going to get enough time because, like I said, I'm going to wrap this up roughly around 8:15. I don't think we're gonna get that, but if you wanted to play this on some paper trade to kind of get your practice and get your juices flowing, I think what I would love to see is that this 5-minute stochastic start to open up, get through this zero line, and really force us to test these lower registers over here on the previous support. If not, right, we're probably going to get this 15-minute to do this continuation here, and whatever bears came in, they realized they didn't get no real support because they're trying to hold this fair value gap. They might have their stop losses somewhere in here, and it's going to create some liquidation. Still bearish, but liquidation of the bears and get a better cross up. I love the crosses that happen up here, like this one right here. Look at that, nice clean cross. Yeah, it was bullish, but there's probably something on the higher time frame that said that this was weak. But nice move all the way down. That's what I want to see. That's a good one. Let's see if I can get another one. Right, look at that, beautiful. Beautiful, right? Nice little cross. Even got a bearish divergence. Got higher highs that's happening in this area. Got higher, lower highs right here. Opens up, bang. Just kind of chopped them down until they dumped it all the way through and got the zero line support. That's what we want to see. So, not too much of a fan of this 15-minute being here, but we'll see. I want to see that M pattern kind of play out. Like I said, any questions? I see no one put anything in the chat. It's a good time to go ahead and put something in the chat. If there's something that you're about to trade, curious about trading, maybe going to trade, whatever the case may be, good time for you to kind of like say, hey, Jeff, what do you think about blah? Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and go into my red list again. Solid here, solid there. Is there anything in my volumes that I want? Actually, you know what? Let's do something out of my volumes. I don't know how the option contracts are, but I think this is a very sound company. If you don't know who this company is, this is the maker of QuickBooks. And since we are going into tax season, you know what else they make? They make Quicken. Quicken is a spinoff into their TurboTax, and they bought Credit Karma and a whole plethora of all types of financial solutions. They're really getting deep into the space. So I do think that they have a nice little pullback here. And the reason why they're here right now is because there's just got to be time for profit taking. I think they built themselves a very solid moat and a very solid company. I've been using them for years. If you don't know who I am, I used to be a director of finance for a retailer of Metro PCS a long time ago, which was roughly around 2017. So I kind of have an idea of how to kind of create books and everything else. And this is one of the biggest softwares that I've ever used. So if you haven't used Intuit or any of their products between personal finance with Quicken or business with QuickBooks, very good company. I think this 600 level is what they were targeting. We could get ourselves a nice little psychological support roughly around here. You know, some manipulation is probably going to play, but they got earnings coming in February. So I want to see what that earnings does. They do pay a dividend. It's $1. Very, very expensive stock. I think they're overdue for a split, but that's for a whole nother conversation. They've been acquiring almost everybody. Actually, you know what? For giggles, before we get out of here, I would love to kind of go over news, and I am going to go over Quicken's, the Quicken, Intuit's whole entire structure itself. So this is Intuit. All right. Credit Karma, TurboTax, QuickBooks, and a MailChimp. For marketing, distribution, and everything else. I forgot about that acquisition. So they got a lot of different things that they do over there. Here's their full product. Like this one here, Intuit Enterprise Suite, I actually used that at my old company for a very long time. But it was a built-in software that you own. And now that they moved into the subscription model, I think they're starting to really push more subscription, and I think this is where that's going to come into play. So this is going to be probably a new revenue stream for them, just to go ahead and maximize, because they already did it with QuickBooks, You already know Credit Karma is their free brand. I think that's just a way for them to grab more data, more information, more about people, so that way they can email and market too. That's all it is, and it, of course, TurboTax. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and get into some news. My favorite. Oh, somebody put in here. What are the trading rules for these prop firms for futures? A good one. So don't let me answer this question before I get into news. I personally use, and like I said, the link is down below. I personally use Elite Funded Trader. They have a deal, and the deal is going to be over very soon. So if you're a seasoned trader, I do suggest that you get Elite. You look at 3,000 profit target. Max drawdown is $2,000. So make 3,000 before you lose 2,000, because they will trail you when it's all said and done. So that's the one that you probably would be looking for. There's some others. There's some good competitors out there. There's some that pays daily, and there's some that the moment that you get a funded, you're good to go. I like Elite. They were the first ones. You never forget your first. That's how I feel about it. So I just accept it for what it is. So now let's get into some news. I hope that answers your question in that regard. My FX book is one of my favorite. Yes, my FX book. I don't trade Forex, but it still does help for you to guide what's going on in the market. This is Sunday. Everything is in China. PPI for that side. Again, Martin Luther King's birthday is not a global event like Christmas or Thanksgiving. Well, they're not even Thanksgiving is that. Like Christmas. So Monday is going to only really affect the U.S. Very interesting, but I don't want to get into the weeds of politics. But inauguration date is on Martin Luther King's birthday, which is very interesting. I thought it was the 16th, but I guess conflict of calendars or whatever the reason may be. But let's go ahead and wrap up. There's going to be some British pound movement here. I think that's the one that's going to really affect the market and really start to either strengthen the British pound or start to really get us in that stronger dollar. I think that's the one that's probably going to be key. Inflation's coming in for Canada. We're going to get some bill auctions. These usually have some effect roughly around 1 o'clock. Wednesday is going to be mortgage applications and oil. No, not oil. Oil stock change, but not the oil that y'all think. I'm going to give you the other one. It's usually on Thursdays. Jobless claims, continuous jobless claims, and then this is the oil that you're going to be worried about. I think this is the one that's going to be the catalyst that's going to really let us know, are we going to recapture that gap on oil contract expiration, or we start to cascade down, and on the Forex side, continuation of that downtrend because it's already on a downtrend, right? So that's going to be very interesting. Fed balance sheet does have some effect, but that's going to be at 4:30, and then on Friday is when we're going to get a lot of this stuff. Michigan, excuse me. Okay, yes, Zion, I'm almost done. What's up?
What is this for?
Can I finish this and answer your question?
Okay.
All right. So now, Michigan sentiment, that can really move the needle. So if jobless claims doesn't have a lot of effect, or oil inventory doesn't have a lot of effect, look for Michigan sentiment, because this is going to give you consumer confidence, how they feel of the economy. And you already know we got inflation that just is very sticky, and there's going to be some people that don't feel very good about the economy. I think that's why Trump's in office, and they're going to try to fix it like it's 2020 again, but we'll see what happens. And that is pretty much it. I hope y'all enjoyed everything here, and to be honest, I have a lot of fun doing this. My classes are on, sorry, not classes, our show is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I did move the time, so if you've been following me, it's no longer at 9:15 all the way to 10:15 and kind of brush over. I'm now into my season, so it's going to be from 8:15 to hard stop 9:45, because I have to get to the office at a certain time. So just keep that in mind. The 8:15 is for my more insiders and trading communities. The links are going to be applied there. So if you do not participate in the community and you want me to send you the link, DM me so that way I can do that. That's JD_the_great on Instagram, Twitter, and I think also YouTube. You can DM me there. But then I'm going to be on YouTube from 8:45 all the way to 9:45. So that's going to be a full hour. So if you want to stay on YouTube, that is perfectly fine too. I'm going to drop some gems over in the 8:15. If you want to join in with that, that would be a great opportunity to do so. That said, go ahead, click the links down below, like, subscribe, all that funny stuff, and get yourself your accounts. It's going to be fun. We're going to get ourselves funded, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.